Wii Sports Resort was the long-anticipated sequel to the Wii launch title Wii Sports, introducing several new sports, a whole new island that all the games take place on, and of course, the Wii Motion Plus accessory. All of this stuff packed into this little package seemed impossible to be perfect. I mean, Wii Sports Resort is everyone's favorite game in the series, but there's no way that this game is perfect, right?
Well, that's why I've decided to play every single sport in Wii Sports Resort and rank it on a tier list. And through this list, we're gonna find out if Wii Sports Resort is perfect. But first,
the story of Wii Sports Resort starts all the way back on the Super Nintendo, before they even created the first Wii Sports. Pilot Wings was a launch title for the SNES, at least in North America, all the way back in 1991. The game was huge for the Super Nintendo, really showing what the console could do. It really pushed the console to its limits in a really awesome way, showing almost 3D graphics on the Super Nintendo using something called Mode 7, which makes things look 3D. It's what games like F-Zero, Super Mario Kart, and stuff like that mainly used, but it was also used in more normal games like Super Mario World and Yoshi's Island. Pilot Wings was a technical marvel at the time, and one of the best flight simulation games that released. The game eventually got a sequel called Pilot Wings 64, which released as a launch title for the Nintendo 64, and ever since then, Nintendo wanted to make another game just like Pilot Wings, or a sequel to Pilot Wings itself. But Nintendo went on to make the GameCube, and there was no Pilot Wings. But secretly, behind the scenes, Nintendo was working on something even better than Pilot Wings. Something that would change gaming forever.
Hi, I'm Charlie, I'm back, and welcome to 2006. Well, it's not 2006 right now, but that's the time period we're talking about.
The Wii was shown off at E3 2006, 2 years after announcing it in 2004 as the Nintendo Revolution, and a few tech demos were shown off with the game, all under the name Wii Sports. The usual games that we know from the original Wii Sports were there, but there was one more also there, Wii Sports Airplane. Wii Sports Airplane took the gameplay from Pilot Wings almost one-to-one, kinda, and had a massive island that wasn't named at the time to fly around. Now, it's cool to see the airplane here, as it ended up being in Wii Sports Resort, but the more interesting part of this short little demo is the island itself that you fly around. This island didn't really have all that much detail, but it did have a few key parts in it. It had a massive volcano-like mountain, a road that goes through said mountain, a town, and a bay.
Look familiar?
Well, that's because it eventually ended up being the island they use in Wii Fit.
Huh?
Wii Fit was the next big game in the Wii series if you ignore Wii Play, and had a running minigame where you run around an entire island. The manual for the game actually had a map of this island, with it being known as Wii Fit Island, or Wiffity Island for some reason, at least in Australia. The island expands on what was seen in that Wii Sports tech demo, adding a lake attached to the mountain, and most importantly, a lighthouse. The island is only ever really seen in Wii Fit, but it obviously inspired something at Nintendo as finally, Wiffity Island was turned into Wuhu Island and became the main setting of Wii Sports Resort. The idea was that this Wuhu Island could appear across several games, as it ended up doing in Wii Fit Plus, Pilot Wings Resort, Mario Kart 7, and Super Smash Bros. 4, just to name a few. Nintendo finally had the location, the theming, and everything ready for Wii Sports Resort. Now all they needed was the perfect game.
Now that we know the history surrounding the game, we can talk about each individual game inside of Wii Sports Resort, and come to the conclusion of if Wii Sports Resort is perfect. The game starts with you jumping out of a plane after you've got the Wii Motion Plus attached, and you skydive down towards Wuhu Island. You get to feel how the Wii Remote works with the new motion that it has. And you try to attach yourself to all the other Miis that I guess are coming down with you, and hold hands all together. The music revs up, and you all open your parachutes. And then the name of the game is revealed. Wii Sports Resort. If that's not a perfect opening, I don't know what is.
Wii Sports Resort opens in such a magnificent way. It's quite possibly the best opening to any game on the Wii. At least the best opening to any Wii series game by far. I know I'm not actually ranking the opening, but that's S tier automatically. It's such a perfect opening. The music, man, the music, it just works so damn well. The game then shows us what sports are available. Swordplay, wakeboarding, frisbee, archery, basketball, table tennis, golf, bowling, power cruising, canoeing, cycling, and air sports. Wii Sports Resort doesn't have the fitness mode that the original Wii Sports had, most likely because by this point Wii Fit already existed, and none of the small challenges are here from the first game either, because that's replaced with side games being within the larger games, such as bowling. Bowling not only has regular bowling, but 100-pin bowling and a spin bowling thing. It makes each individual sport interesting, as instead of it being a small challenge, it's actually a full-on version of the sport. You'll see what I mean when we get there.
So, I'm gonna rank every single-player game on this tier list. You ready? I think this is the best selection of 3 games that are under Swordplay. We're really starting off with a banger. This first one on the list is Duel, where you go up against another me on this big platform and fight until one of you lands in the ocean. Thank God it's not real, because I would be freaking out if I was actually there.
This game is quick, simple fun, but it heavily relies on the fact that your Wii remote is working properly. I did not find out until after playing this game that you can just press the down arrow to recenter your Wii remote, but other than that, everything worked really well. The game's a hell of a lot of fun, but it just feels too short, I guess. It reminds me a lot of boxing from the original Wii Sports, but I didn't really enjoy boxing in that game. So I don't know what makes this one any more different. Maybe the fact that you actually know how close you are to knocking your opponent out as compared to boxing where you just keep punching and praying that it's over. But maybe I just enjoy this setting more.
Not sure.
This one's going in A tier.
Next is Speed Slice. This game's all about quickly slicing different objects that are thrown in front of you in the correct way it tells you to, while also being faster than your opponent. This once again relies on the fact that your Wii remote is working properly, which eventually mine was, but it took a while.
This game was my jam when I first got Wii Sports Resort. I played this game all the time. It was one of my favorites. I don't even know what attracted me to it. The fact that you could cut all of these random objects, maybe? I just liked messing around in this game more so than any other one. It was always fun cutting the objects multiple times after you already cut it. That's what I found fun the most. Overall, fun game. Amazing game, in fact. And it's going in S tier.
The final game under Swordplay is Showdown. This game, I don't know why, reminds me of The Legend of Zelda, but it's actually more like those arcade games like House of the Dead, where you don't control the character's movement, the character moves on its own. All you have to do is, in House of the Dead's case, fire a gun, or in this game's case, swing your Wii remote in order to kill everything that's in your way, or in this game's case, I assume, knock them out, because no way they're killing people in Wii Sports Resort. You have 3 hearts, and you lose one if someone attacks you. Each me that you go up against also has a set amount of hearts too. Most of the time it's 1, but when you get further on, some of them have 2 or 3 or probably even more hearts. The game can become very stressful depending on however many me's appear while you're trying to, fight them all. There can be 6 all at you at once, and you'll have to somehow manage to get all of them all at once, or at least quickly anyway. The game is very simple, but it's a lot of fun. It's the easiest A tier that I've ever given. There's only been 2 so far, but it works. It's a good one. Waveboarding sucks in this game. It honestly does. Okay, it's the best out of all of the water sports in this game, but that doesn't mean it's good. Wakeboarding has you hold the Wii remote horizontal instead of the normal vertical, and you just tilt the Wii remote up and down a little bit, and flip it and stuff like that. It's very simple. It's a very simple game, but you just do that for 2 minutes. That's it. That's all you do.
You have to try and land each trick in order to gain a random amount of points, and just repeat that for 2 minutes. The game would be fun if there was anything to do besides from just go over the same wave in the middle over and over again. I did only try the easiest difficulty, so maybe it gets harder from then. But I would have really appreciated it if there was anything to do besides from just going up and down on the exact same wave. Wakeboarding also has a free mode that you can play at the beginning, but the only difference is that it goes for 5 minutes instead of 2, and you don't get any points, so it doesn't even matter. What the hell is the point of that? Wakeboarding is very much an F tier game. You could maybe argue it's a tier above, as the other water games are so much worse, but this is terrible. It doesn't deserve anything higher than F tier.
Yes, that's Frisbee with a registered R next to it. You gotta pay respects to the Frisbee. Frisbee has 2 games under it, with both having almost identical mechanics, but with them having very different goals. The first one is Frisbee Dog, where you throw a Frisbee at a dog, catches it. I wish I was joking, that's it, that's the whole game!
Frisbee Dog is honestly quite fun when you actually play it. It sounds like the most ridiculous idea for a sport that you've ever heard of, but playing it kind of all clicks together. You pick the Frisbee up from the dog and throw it in a specific direction, hopefully towards where the arrow tells you to throw, and land somewhere near that. Sometimes balloons show up to give you extra points. I wasn't very good at that, and if you miss a circle, you get no points, but it was overall a fun time. You have 8 throws in total to try and get as many points as possible. The game's quite fun, all things considered, so I'd say it's pretty decent, which is B tier if you haven't been following along.
Next is Frisbee Golf. I never expected to like this one as much as I did, but it was actually quite good. Golf was originally in the first Wii Sports, and in this game you can either play Frisbee Golf or boring old regular golf. Why would you ever pick boring old regular golf? And you can play on either the old courses from Wii Sports, which is just the courses from NES Golf, or you can play these brand new courses called resort courses. They're pretty similar to the original courses. Like, if you put that in the first Wii Sports, I would just assume it was from the first Wii Sports. But they are ever so slightly different, and I guess they're more interesting than the original ones, because if I wanted to play the original ones, would I not just play the first Wii Sports or NES Golf? Anyway, in Frisbee Golf, you don't have to be as precise as you are with regular golf. You can kind of just throw it and pray to God that it actually lands in a good spot. And it actually makes it a lot easier to get a hole in one, or throw in one, I guess.
I had so much fun playing Frisbee Golf, man. Not enough that I would actually want to play Frisbee Golf in real life, but it was so much fun in Wii Sports Resort that I almost wanted to just keep playing it. It probably helps that I did really well in it too. I don't know if that's why I liked it that much, but it's an S tier game, or a best tier, S tier, I bet. Well, you get it.
Next is good old Archery, another new game added to Wii Sports. And an interesting one at that. It's literally just archery from, you know, the real world. Wind and all. But it's still quite fun, I guess.
Archery is decent. Like, I don't know what you expect. It's the Mario Tennis Ultra Smash of this Wii Sports Resort.
Because it's just archery, like how Mario Tennis Ultra Smash is just tennis. It's a funny reference, thank you.
So that's why I put it in the decent tier. It's fun, I guess, but I'd much rather play Link's crossbow training, something that actually took the idea of archery and made it into a full-on tech demo for the Wii Zapper 2 or so years before this game came out. Like, imagine if this archery game was like the Swordplay game but with a bow. That would be so cool. That's what I want.
I think we need to take a quick break from all of the stuff that I've been telling you about these games. It's a lot of information that I've just unloaded on you. Okay, let's talk about some more games. I think I'm going to annoy some people now. Both basketball games, they're decent.
What? I'm shocked and appalled.
I'm sorry, Funny Cameo, but they're just decent. If you're not into basketball that much, like me, then I'm pretty sure you're not going to really get that much out of Wii Sports Resort basketball. The first game is you just shoot 3-pointers, and you try to get as many as you can in 60 seconds. As I said, it's decent.
The game just really isn't that exciting. You grab a ball, throw it, and then repeat that action over and over and over and over again. I didn't find it that fun, but I can appreciate appreciate what it's going for. If you try and get literally every single ball in, I guess maybe it can be fun to do, but if you think those games in the arcades where you throw a ball into the net thing is just okay, then surprisingly it being on the Wii doesn't change how decent it is.
Look, that's the one I think most of you are going to be able to accept. Yeah, okay. It's decent. Whatever. It B tier. But I imagine you think the other basketball game is God tier. It's incredible. It's amazing. It's the best thing ever created by humankind. 2-on-2 basketball though isn't that good though. It's just decent. Like the other one.
Wii Sports Resort Basketball 2-on-2 is really just basketball, except every 10 seconds you have to stop and restart because someone just went for a goal or stole the ball or anything. I see people talk about basketball and Nintendo Switch Sports being slow and boring because it stops every 10 seconds and say that it's better than Wii Sports Resort Basketball, but it's exactly the same. There's no difference. Wii Sports Resort Basketball is just as boring as its Switch Sports counterpart, which isn't that boring, it's just decent. Why do people like this version of basketball so much?
I just don't get it, man. Table tennis is quite fun. It's nothing above decent. It isn't higher part of decent. But, you know, tennis in the original Wii Sports is just so much better. The controls work quite well. It's always doubles, so you don't have to always hit the ball back, which, you know, table tennis doubles a bit difficult to figure out how that even works. But table tennis is Wii Sports Resort's replacement of regular tennis, so I kind of have to compare the two. I also kind of like in Wii Sports that you don't honestly really have that much of a direction of where you're hitting the ball. Like you can do a forehand or a backhand, but in the grand scheme of things, it's going to most likely land in the court. Wii Sports Resort makes you really control the ball, like to an immense level. But you would think table tennis in Wii Sports Resort would be just as fun as the regular Wii Sports. It isn't!
Table tennis has two modes. The first one being a normal game of table tennis, being the first to 6 points. So I guess not normal because they normally go higher than 6. It's normal. It's decent. It's probably the game that is closest to good in the decent tier, or B tier. But I just wish it was so much better. I did have to constantly reset the Wii remote in order to actually hit the ball in the right direction. But other than that, the game is just table tennis. Being able to actually place the balls into the right place, I guess is a cool concept, but it just feels so much more boring than the regular tennis game from Wii Sports, regardless of what they added. It's decent, it's a bit of fun, but I'd much rather play Wii Sports Tennis, thank you very much.
There's also a second table tennis game where you just hit the balls back, but there's not really much to talk about. It's extremely simple and boring. What do you want me to say? Golf is the most nothing sport in Wii Sports Resort. I don't know what you expect me to talk about in this section.
Golf in this game is exactly the same as it is in the original Wii Sports. And as I said for Frisbee Golf, you can play on the original courses from the original game, or you can play on the new courses. If you really want to play the new courses, would you not just play Wii Sports? But I guess that's nice to have the option. I'm not sure what to think, honestly.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it is just golf. If you enjoy golf, then you're probably gonna like golf. But I don't think golf was that loved in the original Wii Sports either. Despite the fact that golf, alongside bowling, is in every single game in the Wii Sports franchise, and they're both even in Clubhouse games for the Nintendo Switch. It just seems so odd that they keep getting brought back.
This is just bad. Like, not offensively bad, I'm just not that much into it, to be honest. It's just golf.
Okay, here we go. Bowling! Bowling was my favorite game in the original Wii Sports. No questions asked. I played that damn thing to death. I wasn't like amazing at it or anything, but the original bowling was just so much fun. Wii Sports Resort, as I said earlier, actually has 3 games within the bowling category. With the first one, arguably the one that you probably care the most about, being regular, good old bowling.
Regular bowling is exactly the same as Wii Sports Bowling. You just add a different place now. The only difference is that Wii Sports Resort bowling is actually a lot more accurate to what you're doing, which you wouldn't think would be a problem, but it was for me. The way I played Wii Sports regular bowling involved me not really bowling properly, and that's what helped me constantly get strikes and all that. So when I first tried Wii Sports Resort a few months after it came out, I just really didn't like the bowling in it. I was a fan of the second mode of bowling, which I'll tell you about in a bit, but the Resort regular bowling really stuffed me up. I'd always just play the original Wii Sports instead if I wanted to play bowling. It just worked so much better in that game. But now that I've grown up, I can appreciate Wii Sports Resort bowling, but not enough to put in an S tier. It's definitely top 8.
100-pin bowling. It was originally a bonus mode in the original Wii Sports, where you'd go from 10 pins all the way up to 100 pins in each round, but it wasn't really made into a proper game until Wii Sports Resort, where it's just regular bowling, but with 100 pins. It's just incredible.
Look, I don't know why I find 100-pin bowling so much more fun, but it just works in this game, man. I always managed to knock out almost every pin, but it was really rare for me to actually get a spare, and I never got a strike. But who cares? 100-pin bowling is the easiest S tier I've given out so far. It's not the best game in Wii Sports Resort, but it's pretty close.
And finally, bowling spin control. What the hell do you want me to say about bowling spin control? Well, who cares? It's just regular bowling, but worse. I honestly can't say much more. It's decent. Whoa! We're almost at the end of all of these games. However, now we're coming up to the 2-player games. However, I don't have anyone to play with. Luigi? Yeah, he doesn't seem interested. Power cruising just sucks. I'm not spoiling anything here. I did already say that wakeboarding was the best water sports game in this whole game, so I bet you can imagine what tier this game is going into. It's F tier. Sorry to kill the suspense, but I think we need to understand why it sucks so much.
I don't want to rush over this. Slalom course, I think it's called, which, yes, is the name of the single-player game, sucks. You have the choice at the start between 3 different locations to do the sport, using the Wii Remote and the nunchuck as the 2 handles of the jet ski. You then have to press A and go through the different gates throughout the course. However, the jet ski itself is incredibly hard to control. It seems like it's trying to be like Wave Race, a jet ski racing game for the Game Boy, Nintendo 64 and GameCube, but in Wii Sports Resort, it just doesn't work as well. I found it incredibly hard to make my Mii actually go in the correct direction that I wanted it to go in. It constantly kept trying to go in the wrong direction and just go backwards, and it just takes forever to actually get through the course. I don't know if maybe I picked the hardest course because it was the one at the bottom of the list, but it just wasn't that fun. I really tried to like it. I had heard that people weren't that interested in the water sports games from Wii Sports Resort, so I understand where they're coming from. It's F tier. So easily F tier.
This one could honestly just be in the same placement as the last one. It also sucks. And you wanna know why?
The controls are just confusing, and you just seem so slow. Like, yes, the entire point is that you may not go all the way to the end of the track while canoeing, and the point is to see how far you can go, I think. But the game is just so damn slow. Like, it feels like the slowest game ever, and half the time you try to move your stick to the other side of you to attempt to keep going forward, but it just doesn't work sometimes. The Wii Remote just doesn't pick up on what you're trying to do. I will say, I'm not good at canoeing in real life either, like at all. Don't put me in a boat, we're drowning. But I'm somehow worse at canoeing in Wii Sports Resort. How the hell is that even possible? At least in real life I go forward. It's an F tier. Same spot as the last one. It could possibly go higher, but probably not.
Cycling is interesting. It's not great by any stretch of the imagination, but it's so cool being able to see all around Wuhu Island. You of course get to see more of Wuhu Island in other games like Wii Fit Plus or Mario Kart 7, but this was our first time going for an entire loop around the island, seeing all the different landmarks that the island has to offer. And the controls in this game are actually quite simple too, so it's actually a fun game to play.
The goal is to come first, of course, and you start in 30th, but I feel like the goal is really to just explore Wuhu Island. It's a set track, so it's not like you're actually going to go anywhere of your own choosing, but it's still cool to go on the road, go through a massive mountain, see the sea, and all of the fun stuff around Wuhu Island. You also have 3 hearts that represent your energy, so you always need to make sure that you have at least 1 heart going around the entire track. As if you run out, it's bad news. I know I'm probably playing the easiest track in the entire game, but it did feel quite easy to come first. You just need to watch your hearts and make sure to watch out for the occasional banana. It's really just Mario Kart. The game is decent, I'd say. Maybe if I played it a bit more, it would be higher on this list, but for now, it's decent. It's good fun, but like I'd much rather play bowling or something.
And now we arrive back at the beginning again. Air Sports has 3 games, 2 of which are single player games. Because Luigi doesn't want to actually do anything, do you? Thought so. The first game is skydiving, and it is a little bit different to what the opening of Wii Sports Resort is. In the opening, you just fly down to the ground. It's pretty simple. You can attach yourself to the other Miis, but who cares? It's more about learning what the motion does on the Wii remote. But the actual skydiving game actually has a goal. You have to attach yourself to all the Miis, hold them for long enough so that you can take a picture, and then just keep doing that over and over and over and over and over again. No, you're not meant to question who's taking the photo while falling from a plane.
Skydiving is just really fun, man. I feel like I honestly preferred how dramatic the opening version of it was. That was just such a cool way to open the game, but the actual game is still wonderful. It's a very simple game that I can't really find any more words to describe. There's not that much to talk about. You fall from a plane. I don't know what you want me to tell you. It's an easy A tier, or a good tier.
And finally, Island Flyover. Island Flyover is the most casual game out of all of them, but easily one of the most fun out of all of them. The game was so good they turned it into the 3rd Pilot Wings game. See, I told you it would come back. Wow, foreshadowing is just so cool.
Island Flyover in Wii Sports Resort is a game that helps you learn about Wuhu Island. You have to collect these little eyes, which tell you information about the island, and it's just quite fun. You get to see every single nook and cranny of Wuhu Island and how it all connects to each other, and learn where every single game takes place. Even if it's inside, like bowling, you get to see the building that the game takes place in. It's such an easy S tier, one of the easiest out there. But what's interesting is that they looked at this game and finally made the 3rd Pilot Wings that they'd been planning for so long.
I don't really want to get that much into Pilot Wings Resort right now though, because I could spend a very long time talking about the whole Pilot Wings franchise.
But man, Pilot Wings Resort works so well, man. And seemingly at the Nintendo Museum, they actually have a modified version of Island Flyover from Wii Sports Resort that takes the Pilot Wings part and puts it on the Wii.
So, Nintendo, when's the next Wii game?
Island Flyover is just so cool, man. S tier, 100%.
Wii Sports Resort may not be perfect, because if it was then everything would be an S tier, but it's the clear winner when you compare any of the other Wii Sports or Nintendo Switch Sports games. No other Wii Sports has lived up to what Wii Sports Resort did. Hell, I'm a defender of Nintendo Switch Sports, but this game is like significantly better. Nothing can ever beat Wii Sports Resort. It's just not possible. Wait, Luigi's staring at me. What do you want? I think he's telling me there's a message in the tissue box. Oh my god, Nintendo's making Wii Sports Resort HD! Finally!